Good morning, everybody. How are you all this morning? I gotta push this back because I feel like you're like right in my face. Dun, dun. This song is kind of neat. The presidential. It's good for the Republican presidents and the Democratic presidents. A tune that unites America. Right? We need more of this kind of stuff. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. How are you all this morning? Excuse me one second. I got to go check the sky real quick. Go back here, take a look at the sky. It looks like it's there. It looks like we just don't care. Let's see. Are we zoomed in or are we zoomed out? There we go. All right. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get this going here. Politically speaking, reuniting America. That's what everything's about today on the SubaruSteve show, live Sunday through Thursday, yes, at 8 a.m. on the clocks that are right twice a day, 8 a.m., right? And 8 p.m. But to make sure that I was right, I got two clocks. And now they're both right twice a day, especially at 8 a.m., right? Let me just put that back over there. And we'll just keep on moving here. Let's keep on moving. So I want to talk about the State of the Union address from Tuesday evening, okay? And don't forget, I do give out free fast food lunches each week. Daffy Dog 12, you better go do some research. Anyways, 1 hour and 47 minutes State of the Union address. That's a record. President Donald Trump delivered a record-breaking, longest presidential State of the Union address to Congress and the United States of America. We the people. I watched half of the House, right? We're talking about Congress right now. So I didn't watch the whole hour and 47 minutes. I'm still trying to digest it, but I did watch, and I watched as half the House, Congress, right, standing and applauding in appreciation of the United States Olympians, right? Only half the House stood. I have to think that if Donald Trump was saying, hey, let's praise our Olympians as Republicans, and they all stand and applaud, that the Democrats stayed seated. Is that a protest? Are the Democratic congressmen protesting our president in the form of making we the people pay by all this turmoil, government shutdowns, tariffs? What about when I saw this too, and I'm not all on one side or the other. I do try to stay neutral, although it's very hard to do. I can see positives on both sides, Republican and Democrat. I can see negatives on both sides. I'm sure you can too, right? We are divided. What about when President Trump said, stand up if you agree that the first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens and not illegal aliens? I heard Congress erupt in applause, but then as you look around, you see the Democrats still sitting on one side with their hands crossed or half asleep, or some of them looking like they've had a couple too many drinks. Of course, the same could be said about the Republicans. Maybe they had too many drinks, which is why they were jumping up and applauding and praising what I believe to be the right things. But what do I know, right? Is our elected Congress divided on this issue? Is your congressman or woman? Is it possible that they do not believe that American citizens are more important than illegal aliens? That's the way I saw it. If half the House stays seated and doesn't applaud and the other half does, there's division, right? I don't know. Maybe that's what half of our country voted for, division. The great divided states of America, a divided country. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If we keep pointing fingers at the other side, then we'll always be that much further away from being a united country once more. Okay, I get it. I might sound a little pro-Trump. I do have some concerns, I hope I can say this, about economy. I think I said it right, economy. And what might be our president's psychological reasons, you ready for this one? For naming everything after himself. The John F. Kennedy Chrysler Hall, or Center for Performing Arts, is now the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy. Come on. Come on. I do believe in, what's the word I'm looking for? Respecting the office of the president, of the commander in chief, whether he's Republican or Democrat. I did not trash Biden. Well, most of the time I did not trash Biden. But I don't think he could have got up and done an hour and 47-minute State of the Union address. Man, that would have, if he was going to talk that long, that would have taken him 3 or 4 hours, right? It took Trump an hour and 47 minutes. I bet it was an hour speech. What might be our president's psychological reasons for wanting to name everything after himself? Stick with me here, because I'm going to do a self-diagnosis on myself of this. Is it symbolic immortality? That's one of the 4 reasons that I've looked at. Is he trying to preserve a legacy and memory based on his physical existence? Symbolic immortality. And am I guilty of that? What about implicit egotism, an unconscious preference for things they associate with themselves, including their own name? SubaruSteve show? And what about toponymic narcissism? A compulsion to plaster one's name on geographical locations or public assets as a form of psychological power accumulation. I'm sorry, when I was researching this, I thought of North Korea, where you have the dictator's picture not only in every building, on every border, and every street sign, but also in every home. You have to have the dictator's picture hanging up as the great leader. Possibly a form of psychological power accumulation. And heaven forbid that we have a president suffering from, I'm going to say it, insecurity and validation, where one has a relentless need for self-naming stemming from deep-seated insecurities that require constant affirmation to feel real and valued. That's kind of what I'm doing, right? I tried to do a self-diagnosis. Being a YouTube with a channel, being on YouTube with a channel named after myself, now creating shirts, mugs, bags, and other SubaruSteve official fan support merchandise, I found myself wondering which of those 4 psychological reasons I might be a victim of. It's a tough thing to self-diagnose when you're only given those 4 choices, and I challenge you to do the same thing. Do a self-diagnosis using these 4 things. Pick out which one is probably the one you're strongest in, right? Be it symbolic immortality, implicit egotism, toponymic narcissism, toponymic narcissism, or insecurity and validation. Which would Congress have the country think of me? Think about that. Which would Congress, if your name was put up and your picture was put up, which of these 4 things would Congress give you as a nomenclature or tagline or handle? Divided or not? And which would I surmise as being my number 1 reason to be SubaruSteve of the SubaruSteve Show, now offering shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, bagged with something SubaruSteve printed on them? Using the process of elimination of the 4 psychological reasons previously mentioned, I believe I can rule out, there's that word again, toponymic narcissism, as naming things, building parts is not important to me. No, I don't need to be the SubaruSteve or the Dome by the SubaruSteve Show. If you're here in the 757, you know what I'm talking about at the Dome. I think I can next rule out implicit egotism, as I am consciously aware of my preference to associate things with my own name. I think as far as symbolic immortality, I cannot completely rule this out, as I do want to create and preserve a legacy for future generations to discover. Future generations of my friends, family, acquaintances, you, the viewer, leaving me self-diagnosing, leaving me insecurity and validation. Not that I am happy about this discovery. However, it is good for me to recognize that I do have a self-stemming need to feel real and valuable and valued. That probably comes from a deep-seated insecurity. I'm 68 years old now, and I'm just realizing all this. Why didn't I learn about it when I was young? I was too busy being wild and free, I guess. Now, never did I intend speaking politically to aid in a self-diagnosis of myself or our president, or anyone else for that matter. And I do challenge you, the viewer, to choose one of those 4 psychological reasons that you do, reasons of why you do what you do. If only we could get Congress to perform this action. Each and every Congress member, Republican, Democratic, Independent, I don't care. Every congressman to perform, and the president, to perform this self-diagnosis of ruling out the 4, how did I call it? The 4 psychological motivators of why a person chooses and likes their own name or to name things. Yeah, you get it. You got it. Okay. I do challenge you, the viewer. I mentioned that. All right. Self-diagnosing for all Americans as well, not one half or the other, but everybody. If we all focused on ourselves, when you point a finger, you got 3 of them pointing back at you. If we focused on ourselves, on how we can become better, how we can become good, how we can unite our country, that's what Americans want to hear. Not that it's his or her fault, not that they did that wrong or that's what happened there, or they support this and we support that. No, we have to be united, folks. We have to look at what is good for the common good of the people. Not of the congressman or congresswoman, not of the president, of the people. We the people. I'm not on my notes now. I got off of that. My apologies. We simply must become united once more. United we stand, divided we fall, and we're falling. The division that continues to rise, if left unchecked, will overtake us all. You see, we can all choose sides on any debate, any issue, or any concern. However, that is never the solution. Choosing a side is not a solution. If we cannot agree on simple things, how can we agree on more important, vital things that affect us all? Not just me, my family, the generations of them to come, yours as well, regardless of whether you're Republican or Democrat. We need to protect this country. Yeah, I believe American citizens first, illegal aliens out. Period. We have a legal way to come into the country. How did we get away from it? I don't know. Maybe you do. I'd love to read your comments. I really would. Please type them in the comments. I do see and read each and every one, and I reply appropriately or accordingly. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, because that's the fuel that keeps me going. You are what fuels me, not the money. I mean, I like the money. I like money. I do like money. I like giving it back. That's why I do the free fast food lunches each week. What I do, I like to think I do for you as much as for myself. All right, folks, have a great day. Remember, it's a choice. See you all Sunday, 2 days from now, well, 3 days from now. Yeah, 3 mornings from now, for Sunday morning social media sermon number 143. God will tell me what he wants me to talk about on Saturday, and I'll prepare a message for you all. I hope you'll tune in Sunday at 8 a.m. Don't be late. We're going to have some fun being blessed, and you are invited too. With that said, I'm high-fiving out from the beautiful rainy resort city of Virginia Beach, Virginia, where rain never stops the dolphins from swimming because they're already wet. I am legend in my own mind, insecure and unvalidated, but continually growing and moving forward. SubaruSteve. How about you? Later, folks. High fiving out. I am gone.